Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I'm Candice Vandell. For those of you that don't know me, I am a spiritual coach and teacher. I want to dive right into abandonment wounds and obsessive thoughts. This is a three-part series, so please stay tuned for the next videos. But this one is all about the obsessive thoughts. I have so many clients that come to me and say, is this my intuition? Is this person the one? Or is this my trauma? And I say, let's break this down. Obsessive thinking is absolutely a trauma response to having abandonment wounds. The main issue with abandonment wounds is when someone else that you think you connect with abandons you, you fear that more than anything. Not only because you're being your authentic self and you're really having a true connection and you're following that instinct obsessively, but also because you're afraid that you will abandon yourself when they abandon you. You know what I'm talking about. This is what needs to stop. But before we go into that section, I want to talk about these obsessive thoughts, why they happen, and what to do about them. So you meet someone, you feel like, oh my gosh, there's this connection. They're validating that connection. Now, here's the thing you don't know. You don't know who they are at all. You've just met them. You've now projected a whole future onto them, an entire fantasy of who you think they are because they're perfect for you. And you start to obsess and you start to say, oh my gosh, like this one client the other day, she was like, I was thinking about him all day. I wanted to text him all day. And I say, that is not healthy. When we know we're worthy of authentic connection, we don't have obsessive thoughts. We have a smart, neutral observance that says, let me see if this is the person that fits me. But because of the unworthiness wound, we're so obsessed with making sure that they do. Because if this one doesn't connect with me, I'll be alone and there'll be no one, and then I can't trust myself. And you go into this spiral of crap, right? And so what I want to say is when you start to have obsessive thoughts, that is the key indication that I am attaching to this person insecurely. There's an insecure attachment whenever we have abandonment wounds. And what that also indicates to me, if I'm your coach, I'm working you through this very secure attachment to self to really calm down the obsessive thoughts and calm down these ideas that you have that you think are law. They're not. They're just hopeful, wishful ideas that everyone naturally has in the beginning of a relationship. But if you're in a healthy space and a secure attachment to self, you don't meet someone and think could be the one. I might change my life for them. This is when you know you're in trauma. This is when you know you're afraid to be traumatized again. And so at that time when you're obsessing, it's not your intuition saying, this is my soulmate. This is my one. That is your trauma saying, I need to attach. It needs to be the one. You know what I'm saying, right? So what we need to do is we need to recognize that. Don't shame yourself for having these thoughts. Don't start to go down a negative spiral of what happens if he doesn't attach or she doesn't attach. None of that. Notice it. Practice being the neutral observer. Notice that. Notice, what am I doing? Why do I think I'm doing this? I asked my client the other day, I said, what are these thoughts helping you with? How are they helping you? How are they there for you? What are they protecting you from? And it's really this obsessive need to connect, attach, to have certainty that this is the thing that's going to be safe. What we also do with abandonment wounds is we're looking for the person to not abandon us so we can heal the original abandonment wound. You have to do that original wound work. If you're looking deeper into that, go check out my emotional rehab program. It is for you. If you also want a workbook, spiritual fitness workbook I wrote 8 years ago is about managing emotions and understanding their messages. This is for anyone who's ever had abandonment wounds. The reason I wrote that book, and I actually give a lot of pages to my clients, is because when we don't know how to manage our emotions and understand their messages, we get caught in what we think it is, and then we take action. So the thing that I told my client to do the other day, who's having these obsessive thoughts over someone she met one time in person, is I said to her, what is this saying, right? What is this feeling? What is going on? Notice what it is. Notice what you're doing and don't take the action. If we cannot align our actions with the abandonment wound, we're in a good place because now we're not creating a recreation of the original trauma. When we're ever looking for someone to be the healer of our original wound, we are actually going to be connecting with someone to bring it up again. Here's the thing that we don't understand. If we learn a lesson, we don't have to attract it anymore. So learning the lesson means working on my own insecure attachment with my own self-abandonment. Say things like this. For this client, it was a man that she was interested in. So I said to her, say, what if he doesn't love me? What if he isn't the one? What if he doesn't really want anything with me? She was so obsessed about the fact that, well, the minute that I'm wrong, I go, well, don't make yourself wrong by deciding what it is before you know. We trap ourselves in self sabotage, guys. You don't know this person. So sit there and say, this feels like a normal, good connection, right? This feels like a mutual interest. This feels like it could be something. And also, there's a 50% chance that it's not. And if it's a 50% chance that it's not, it doesn't mean that I'm abandonable, unworthy, never going to find anyone, I'm not where I should be in life. It means none of those things. Those are the things your ego created to make you obsess over this. Think about it. So what is making you safe in doing that? Finding the one. Finding someone to heal the original wound. You are the only one that can heal the original wound. And I highly suggest you start to really focus on managing those emotions, understanding those messages, right? Spiritual Fitness Workbook. But more than that, what you can do on your own right now is becoming aware of this pattern and seeing how it's there to help your wound survive. Healing your wound is sitting with yourself and noticing that if this person doesn't love me, can I still love myself? If this person isn't the one, can I trust myself? You can trust yourself and love yourself if you stop telling yourself this is it, because there's a 50% chance it isn't. Instead, what I encourage you to do is say this is possible. So what we do in trauma is it's black and white thinking. Trauma expresses itself in extremes. Yes, no, good, bad, right, wrong. This is what I want you to do. Practice the gray area. The gray area is I want this and it could be. This feels right, but it might not be. It might be wrong, right? This isn't an experience where we can know right away, even if it's our intuition. Oftentimes in life, my intuition has guided me to make mistakes so I can be very sure about what isn't the mistake. I used to go through this pattern when I was healing my abandonment wounds of training myself to go all in on a decision or a choice and being open if it's wrong. See how many of you resist that idea. Many of you are resisting the idea to go all in on something. This will actually be the next part of my video when we go all in on our authentic self or all in on our authentic purpose. It is the biggest fear trap for anyone with abandonment wounds because our authentic self is the thing that got abandoned and rejected in the first place. Your work is to notice that and not do it to yourself. So please share this video with anyone you think that it could help. Please don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell for notifications, and I will be back with part 2 soon. See you guys.